Hello, everyone, and welcome to our group podcast. You're listening to New City, New Voice, Semi, a podcast by TRÉM Cổ Đô. I'm Ngọc, your host for today's episode. Joining me today are four amazing people who have been with me through this entire project. Huy, Nhi, Trâm, and Mừng. Say hi with everyone.
Hello everyone.
Hi, happy to be here.
Hello. Hi everybody, I'm excited for this one.
Today we are not giving another class presentation. We sitting down as friends to share what really happened behind the project. Our project was about accentship and identity. And if you ever move to a new city and caught yourself speaking differently without even realizing it, this episode is for you. Let's get into it. Hi Huy, you were really deep in the research side of things. For everyone who might be listening to this without knowing our project, can you paint a picture of what we were actually exploring?
Oh, sure. So the starting point for all of this were a pretty simple observation. When people move to a new city, especially university students, they start speaking differently. Sometimes they do it on purpose, sometimes they don't even notice. So we call this phenomenon is accentship. And the question we want to explore was, what does that shift mean for someone's identity? We focus specifically on students here in Hue cities, which is an interesting place linguistically because Hue had a very distinct dialect. Students from other provinces come here and suddenly they are surrounded by a completely different ways of speaking. So the social pressure to adapt is real and it's immediate.
And what were the main goals you guys set out with?
We had two core objectives. The first one is awareness. We want to have people understand what accentship actually is. And the second was creating a space for sharing because this is actually quite a personal topic and a lot of people feel embarrassed or conflict about the way they speak and they wanted to open that conversation.
All right, so we know the pressure is there, but honestly, the actual scale of it just blew my mind. Trâm, you were deep into the survey work. Could you actually share some of those striking findings with us?
Yes, so we ran a Google Form survey. The first week finding was about speed. More than 57% of students said they started noticing a change in their accent after just 3 to 6 months of living in Hue. That's incredibly fast.
And why do you think it happens that quickly?
Well, I think it comes down to daily exposure. When you are surrounded by a different accent every single day, your brain starts to adapt almost automatically. There's a theory called communication accommodation theory, which basically says people naturally adjust their speech to become more similar to the people they interact with. It's a social instinct, and we do it to connect.
Exactly. Classic study from the 1970s also point out the same thing, that accent variation reflects social factor. When people from different regions interact frequently, their accent gradually converge. And we basically saw this happening live in real time with students in Hue.
Oh, and what was the finding that surprised you more personally?
For me, it was the context switching finding. Over 52% of students said that they only use their blend accents in academic setting or when meeting strangers. But when they go home or call their parents, they switch straight back to their original accent immediately.
Oh, that's fascinating. So it's almost like they have two modes.
Exactly. What that tells us is that accentship isn't about losing your identity. It's about managing multiple identity depending on context. You're not becoming a different person. You're becoming more adaptable.
Adding to that, some people describe this switching very constantly because they were afraid of being judged. But others only noticed it after the fact, when someone from home said, "You sound different now."
And that social pressure piece is really important. Can you speak to the idea of sounding standard?
Yes, there is this the ideas that some accents are more correct or professional than others. So people with strong regional accent may feel just as less educated. That judgment creates real psychological pressures. It affects confidence and how people present themselves and even career choice.
Yeah, it's really heavy when you think about it. But anyway, let's move from the data to the actual creative side. Nhi, you were the one behind the scenes. Could you tell us how we actually brought this story to life on our fan page?
Our main platform was Facebook, especially a fan page called TRÉM Cổ Đô. We met through original short film. The first one was the linguistic shock, showing the funny side of hearing Huế dialect. Words like tế, mô, rửa, chư. It can be genuinely disorienting for newcomers. The second video was adaptation and identity, which were more emotional. It followed a student switching between a home phone call with family and a formal group discussion.
And what was the reaction to that one?
That one got the most responses. People really saw themselves in it. Actually, when we finished filming the second video, the whole crew just sat in silence for a few minutes because it was so moving. We felt like we were looking at our stories.
And even though public likes were modest, the Google Form survey told a different story. The responses were long, detailed, and deeply personal. People engaged privately, reading, reflecting, and then filling out the form at midnight because they felt safe there.
Anyway, it's still so moving to hear about those moments behind the scenes. But looking back at everything now, it wasn't on just smooth sailing, was it? Mung, you've been our reflective analyst. What would you say were the actually biggest challenges and lessons we learned from this?
Yeah, actually, I want to talk about three things. The first one is visibility. We had to be strategic about sharing content into student groups because we had no budget. The second one is observer's paradox.
Tell us about that filmy situation. I remember you saying it was quite ironic, right?
Yes, this was the most fascinating part. We wanted to capture authentic speech, but as soon as the camera came out, the participants automatically started speaking more carefully and polished. They subconsciously corrected their own voices the moment they knew they were being watched.
So the camera created the exact social pressure we were studying, right?
Exactly. We lived the project in real time. It took a lot of effort and casual conservation just to get them to relax again. It taught us that the act of observation changes the behavior you were trying to observe.
Which brings us back to the core issue. Mung, you mentioned a third point about emotions.
Yes, one respondent shared that they feel like an outsider just because of how they spoke, and it made them lose their confidence. That affected me deeply. We realized we weren't just making content about language, but about self-worth.
Exactly. It's been such a learning curve. Alright then, let's dream a little bigger. If we were to expand this campaign, what directions should we be heading in? Mung, what's your take on this?
I think it's time. I would start the fan page months earlier to grow an organic following first.
And Nhi, from the content side, what do you think about it?
I would want to do a Share Your Story series and expand to TikTok. The format of our video would translate well, yeah.
So I would like to do in these interviews, number show pattern, but a 15-minute conversation gives you the show or story.
And I also look at professional settings like job interviews, where accent bias doesn't go away after graduation.
Alright, we were actually coming to the end of our episode. But before we go, let's leave our listeners with some final takeaways. Do you have any final thoughts would you like to share?
Actionship is not a flaw. It's a sign of adaptability, so don't be ashamed of it.
And don't be ashamed of where you came from either. Your true thing can coexist.
If someone's accent makes you judge them, that's worth examining. Accents deserve respect.
Do the research, talk to people, sometimes the most personal topics matter most.
And finally, be yourself, no matter how much your voice adapts to the world around you. New city, new voice, but always the same sound. Thank you for listening to Trạm Phát Thanh Cổ Đô. This has been Ngọc,
Huy,
Trâm.
Nhí.
And Mừng.
Take care and stay true to your unique heritage. Goodbye everyone and
See you next time.